guys, welcome to the channel, and this is another part of my Building Newcrest series, and we are starting off in the residential district, which is the area that is in the north part of Newcrest. We've already finished the Arts District and Stadium Street. You can definitely find those builds in the Newcrest playlist, which I'll link down below. And if you want to download all of the lots in, like from each district in one post, I have those as well posted on Tumblr. And it's all very exciting because we are almost done, completely done with Newcrest. And then I'll do kind of like a tour, I guess, of the entirety of Newcrest once we get there. I still need to do that for Magnolia Promenade, and it's been forever since that's been finished, but you know how it is. And so today, this was actually a idea that was submitted by one of my viewers, and I thought it was a really cute idea, and I thought it would fit in this district really well because it is a more residential area. So the idea was to make a grocery store with apartments above it, which I really liked, and I definitely wanted to incorporate that, especially in the residential district, which I mentioned before. But yeah, so I actually ended up rebuilding this because what had happened was I was almost done with the produce. And the thing about the produce is it's very tedious because basically you have to go into the debug menu, and then place each individual fruits and veggies and seasonings and things like that individually, and then raise them up. And I was almost done when out of nowhere, and I mean, I was not expecting this at all. It wasn't raining. There was no lightning. You know, I've had no problems with my electricity or anything like that. So I was like in the zone, and I was placing a bunch of apples, and then the power just shuts off. It shuts off randomly out of nowhere, and I was so devastated. I just gave up for the rest of the day. So apologies on not too many videos that have been out as of recently. Well, for one thing, the world build for Portugal, I started it and I got like major builder's block, so I haven't finished it yet, but it is in the works, and I finished building this one yesterday or today. And yeah, so apologies for everything being kind of late, and plus I'm starting to get into streaming on Twitch, so that's taken up a lot of energy as well. And yeah, so that's kind of what I've been up to, and I think that because of Twitch and because of other factors, I think I might have to post less regularly on YouTube, but I hope you guys understand, and I hope that that's okay. But yeah, so about this build, I was inspired by Whole Foods, so that's why I named it Complete Foods Grocery on the gallery. So I noticed while I was looking up grocery stores for reference, there's, you know, the conveyor belt where you put all your groceries and stuff, and I was thinking, how do I portray that in The Sims? So what I did was I took this same kind of idea that I've seen like Urban Sims and Harry and some other people. They actually will use a bench and put it on top of the counter, so it looks like you know, it's a baby changing table. So I used that same idea for the conveyor belt for the counter, except I used the very flat bench that came with the bowling stuff. So yeah, so that's that, and I thought it turned out really well. I think it looks really realistic. And for the produce section, what I had to do was I raised up the planter boxes, because there's not really any like I don't know, baskets or like containers that look really natural and realistic to have produce in them. So I just kind of used the planter boxes and raised up the planter boxes to be kind of sitting on top of the pedestal. I had to move the pedestals out from underneath, otherwise some of the items would like snap to the slots. So that didn't really happen very often with the planter boxes because there's only a few slots that certain things can go on. So when I was placing the grapes, I saved really often in this build because I was not about to have it crash again. And so I had to place like a few grapes in each slot on the planter box, and then I was able to place everything how I wanted with no problem, and then I just deleted them once I was done. But yeah, I thought it was really cute how this produce section came out. I have these barrels with the apples in it. Since it is fall, apples are definitely in season. So are pumpkins. So I put the pumpkins in the back, which you'll see later. But I have to admit, I was feeling a little bit lazy in a way because I didn't want to fill up the entire planter box. So I just kind of filled up all the edges or like the outside of it, and then in the center I placed like signage, because I mean in real life there's signage to tell you what is what in the produce section anyway, so I didn't mind that. It's how it was planned. It's how it was supposed to be. There's so much stuff in debug though, like it can be overwhelming, I have to admit. There's certain things that aren't in debug, which I think should be, such as cheese. So there's no cheese section, unfortunately. I'm very sorry. But I mean, for what it is, it looks pretty cute, I think. And honestly, I don't think I'm gonna do another grocery store anytime soon, or at least not for a good while, because this thing really pushed my limits. And it's not even really that elaborate, it's just really tedious. And but yeah, I think it's really cute. And then usually in grocery stores they'll have like a meat and fish section, so that's what I'm doing here. And I thought it was really cute that I never really noticed this, but there's like an ice texture on the bottom of this like cool, like refrigerated display box. And I found these like slices or like raw chicken and meat and stuff in debug, so I put those in the cooler boxes, and it looks exactly like the the deli area of a store. And there's also these meat like paper wrapped packages too that I found in debug, so I put some of those inside of the cooler. So this lot is considered a retail lot. I unfortunately couldn't put everything set for sale for you guys already, so you'll have to do that when you buy the store to set certain things for sale. But otherwise, I think it'd be really cute for storytelling. I mean, I really miss grocery stores that we had in Sims 3. Even though they weren't exactly like functional lots that you could, go inside, it was still fun for a realistic standpoint, having to go to the store, buy your own groceries for things you need to cook. And I don't know, I miss that level of realism sometimes in The Sims 4. And I hope that maybe one day they'll add it in, or something like it, maybe like a hidden lot where you have to travel to it or something. I don't know, something like that. And then most grocery stores also have a bakery. So before I did the bakery, I started to fill up the shelves in the actual store part of it. And unfortunately, there's really not that many items in game, even in debug, that are actual food items that you can place on shelves. So I did what I could, and I felt I used the items in game that were best representation, like the best representation of what would be in a store. So yeah. And then here on the side, on like in the produce section, I put lots of little pumpkins. Right now in the grocery store that I go to, they have them all outside. And there's also a section on the inside with a bunch of pumpkins, like tons of them. So I thought it'd be really cute to include in this build as well. So this section of like where the bathroom is, I put the certificates above the sinks. And the sinks actually reminded me of water fountains, because usually they'll have some water fountains near the restroom at a grocery store. And then I thought it was kind of funny to include the certificates, because also usually in a grocery store they'll display like who the manager is and the assistant manager, or like the employee of the month and stuff like that. So that's what I put over there by the bathroom. And then here I am working on placing a bunch of coffee bags. These coffee bags I think come from Get Together, where, you know, the barista would pour in the coffee for the coffee machines. But they're in Debug just as bags, and they're really cute for decor. Like if you want to put them in your own house as clutter in the kitchen, it's really cute. But yeah, so this is the bakery area, and since we don't really have any baskets per se, I used the round planters. They're a bit smaller, but I found these loaves of bread in the debug menu, and I was so excited because I was like, yes, I can finally make, you know, a bakery type thing. Because usually, you know, in a grocery store bakery, you'll have a bunch of different types of bread and different sized loaves and stuff in baskets, usually displayed in this way. I thought about using, because there's like potatoes in debug, and I thought maybe if I size them up, they'd look like different types of bread, but they only came in 3, or at least what I found. So I was like, yeah, that's okay. I'll just use these loaves of bread and I'll just pretend they're different. And then here in the bakery section, I stacked 2 ovens on top of each other. So it looked like, you know, an industrial just ovens and not an actual stove, you know, that are stacked on top of each other. That's what I was thinking of for that. And just using a mixing bowl and some utensils there. And that was pretty much the entirety of the grocery store. I mean, most of it was just me putting stuff on shelves, and I thought that would be kind of boring for you guys. But yeah, so on top of the grocery store, there's a total of 3 apartments. There's like 2 smaller, cheaper apartments, and then there's one that's like a 2-bedroom, like more expensive apartment. I did have this unfurnished, but I did place like the layout and the kitchenette and the bathrooms, and kind of like everything that would be there for your Sims to move in if you wanted them to. It's just, you know, empty apartments as if they were to come in real life when you're moving into one. So I thought that'd be kind of fun. So I hope you guys don't mind that. But I tried to make it as easy as possible for you guys to know like what's going on upstairs if you wanted to move in your Sims. But that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I can't wait for the next build. I'm definitely going to furnish some of the other residential lots in this district. So look out for that. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.